State House correspondent on Thursday after a meeting Tinubu had with stakeholders in the agricultural sector and food production value chain. He said that the president is not unmindful of the rising cost of food and how it affects these citizens. The detail of the presidential intervention on food security, food pricing, and sustainability to journalists. Like saying that the measure in the plan will include an immediate release of fertilizers and grains to farmers and how to ease the plan. To ease the pain, of petrosity removal. And he to say, as a direct and indirect response to the crisis, a number of initiatives will be deployed in to reverse this trend and guarantee future uninterrupted supply of affordable food to Nigerians' daily lives. And some of those interventions, we will immediately release fertilizers and grain to farmers and households, mitigate the effect of fuel subsidy removal. They also have, there must be an urgent synergy between the Ministry of Agriculture and the Ministry of Resources to ensure adequate of farmland and guarantee that food is produced all year round. As a country, the president has made it clear that we not be comfortable with seasonal farming. We can no longer have to have farming down. And another part was say we shall create a national commodity board that will review and continuously assess food price, as well as maintain a strategic reserve that will be used as a stabilization mechanism for critical grains and food item. And this comes to talking point, because a lot of people say, Mr. President, why would you declare a state of emergency in the food security, agriculture and production chain? But some other people will say, it's due long enough. Of course, you know that if you want to talk about farming, it's one of the key things that we're known for in this part of the world. You want to talk about Benue State, you talk about Kaduna, you talk about Kano, Fa in Zamfara, the days of Granite Pyramid, the like, the Fadama, the rice, all of that. One would also say, what is happening to our farming? I remember the past administration tried to hold on to it, a very firm believer of agriculture when President Muhammadu Buhari was saying we should back to the farm and all of that. But a lot of people also have a contrary view, which brings us talking point is that why do we go back to farms that are no safe for our farmers to farm? Why won't the supply chain index drop drastically? Because people can farm from whether there's clash, whether communal, people could not access their farm. So people rather stay at home to say, I'm going to farm. We see what happened was in Plateau State. We see what happened in Benue State with the former of Benue State, and the likes, and how those interwoven into the government cycle and the likes. And now Bola Ahmed Tinubu coming to declare a state of emergency. And it is looking at his point to a direction where we don't have closure in terms of city. Because if you ask any of these farmers who are going back to the farm, it's only one answer: security. What are your takes on, before we jump on what you are recommending as forest guard to ensure safety in this? We'll take it from this, and also our security parts when you forest guard. But what are your takes on this?
Yes, basically it is a good thing that President has decided to take by the horn. The issue about food insecurity has been there. We know that just few months ago in February, United Nations Office for Humanitarian Affairs, the Office of the United Nations manages humanitarian crisis. OCHA, that 4.3 million people, were at the risk of dying in the north. If interventions are not, I think it quoted about $81 million. Over $300 million was needed for that initiative. This is just in February. So it goes ahead to say that's just declared for the northeast region, which has been, by the Boko Haram insurgency. How about the other countries out of the country? It is not a surprise that there is food insecurity, all over an area. What the president, however, it is trying to address that affordability. That's what he's addressed. That there is food, in the, but because of the increase, the sudden surge rises as a result of the fuel subsidy, removal of the fuel subsidy, and as such, he feels that he's supposed to intervene by money for people so that people can have to buy food. A very wonderful idea, a very good idea. Then we have to really look at how do we sustain this? How do we sustain the food security? That is the question. How do we do it? And to us, we have been talking, about the forest guard. It is not just enough. Sorry to add here. It is not just enough to provide the 8,000 naira palliatives, right? Even though some people are still talking about what that 8,000 can do to these people. Even those like me, at the same time, a hostile environment journalist who has worked with the most people, the most vulnerable people, have had access to meet with the innocent people. That means people who are living in poverty. I can tell you, Emmanuel, that 8,000 naira is nothing, but it's something useful in the hands of an insurgent, not to the hands of an IDP. Somebody who has been chased out of comfort zone, has been chased out of, he cannot go to farm, he has lost every means of livelihood. And that is not just limited to the IPs as a result of book. That also includes even those who have been made vulnerable by flooding, natural disasters. There's that encroachment. It also include people who are challenged, who do not have their full body parts, to go about looking at their means of living just like you. So I'm saying that 8,000 is something that this can collect with a smile, as long as the president ensures that it gets to these people. But the next question will be like, how do we sustain it after a month of sharing 8,000?
Okay.
That is the question for me.
I mean, we just took a version to that, and a lot of people have also talked about the COVID-19 palliative in measures with the 8,000 that the government is proposing to send. And that's another question of data. What database are we using to justify some of this sending? But the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs during President Muhammadu Buhari, and when they were sending 5,000 people, and a lot of people, even this show, have called me to say, Effizy, I don't know anybody in my family, people in my village who have received this money. And even at the Honorable Minister came to say how important this 5,000 is to some people, that we give some people, they share tears of it that they could hold this. But that apart, so let's come to the issue of security as one of the holdings for agriculturalness or farming to thrive area. We know that that's around it. The mechanized farming and all of that. We're talking about the real planting, people farm to do it. I mean, you are exposed to some of these people in some of this area, whether you call it northeast, who have been hit by insurgency. These people live with the product they farm. They take those days to the market.
Absolutely.
They sell it, use it to sponsor their children and their to school.
Absolutely.
They use it to pay for hospital bills and buy medication. But it's looking like that is not the case, because again, also have a security architecture at the time by Nigerians do not really believe in architectural system. Now President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is also speaking. New service chief that have just been confirmed by the and a lot of people are giving him a level of thumbs up But then again, you proposing a forest guard. Just thinking, how will this work when we have military architecture going to some of those areas to clear out some of this people who are causing him? What is the positive part to having forest guard?
I mean, we can basically take our lesson, or our motivations for the forest guard. The issue about when Goodluck Jonathan declared a state of emergency in the year 2012 on some local governments in the northeast. At that time, Boko Haram insurgency had encroached, even to the MMT. The MMT is the Maiduguri Metropolitan Local Government that houses the government house. So they had encroached into that local government. Bombs were going off in the market. Bombs were going up in ATM, in the office stations, and all of that. Churches, mosques, all of those. Such a state of emergency had to be declared. So something happened. The vice president today was governor of Borno State. Yes, talking about Vice President Kashim Shettima. He, along with the Office of National Security Advisor, had an idea. And that was the Civilian Joint Task Force, known as the JTF. And what did they do? They got youth, boys and girls, young people, the streets from the communities in Maiduguri, and recruited them into this agency, this group organization, and gave them some training, regimental training, and these were the people that worked side by side with the three in terms of provision of intelligence, because they knew the terrain, and as such, that was how they were able to smoke out Boko Haram from all nooks and crannies that they were hiding in. That was when parents came out and were pointing to their kids, that son, that my daughter, that my wife, that my husband is in Boko Haram. That was when they started picking up rifles, under the beds of these people. That was when they started finding rifles in the kekena that Mohammed Yusuf was given to load them into Baram. And that was how Nigerian government the security was able to smoke out Baram elements from the city, chase them out of the city. They had to remain in Sambisa. Boko Haram chose to stay there. They were forced to because of the activities of the civilians. What am I saying? We're saying here that when you find people who have the good understanding of the terrain, in Nigeria, it is clear, our farmers, you have said it, our farmers don't go to the farm any longer. Let's be sincere to ourselves here. The food we're eating in there, most of it is produced by these farmers. Into the market, the tomatoes, the onions, the rice, all of those things are produced farmers in the villages. And it is that they also bring to the market to sell the and eat. Now, these people cannot go farms, whether you are talking about in the north, in the southeast, where they are declaring sit at home. It's a sit at home. Sit at home means in the community cities, right? Yes. So if they are telling you to even sit at home, will you even have the audacity to go to the farm? It barely tells you that farming is in a lot of issues in the south. And that is also the same thing in the south, although we have a bit of the situation has reduced there with all militants. But in the middle belt, where we're trying to have the all-round season farming, Benue, Kaduna, Plateau State, the header issue has stopped farmers from going to. I grew up as a village boy in Fokut of Zangwankata. I started going from primary 3 up to my university. I know what it was we were doing, going to farm, but no, these guys go to farm again, and if you ask them, they're not going to the farms. So for instance, what was the last attack? I think let's say Plateau State. Now, let's say for instance, let's take about a reactionary situation whereby these guys have they've carried out the attack, they are escaping into the forest, right? Let's say that the youths have been recruited into the forest guard that we're telling Bola Ahmed Tinubu to. Let's say youths of those communities were in that forest, right? They understand that forest
because
it's their terrain. We call as forest, Emmanuel, is that it is ancestral lands of all these people. So therefore, the youth from these communities, with their superior knowledge of forests, they can help to monitor those people, go after them, and have them arrested. And if we even talk about how do you call it? Not even reacting. Let us be what's the word now? No, let us be preactive. Let them be preactive. It will be that this forest guard, right, would have some regimental training, would have the use of technology, a unit of technology, where they can use drones, to monitor the aerial view of the forest, and they will be able to monitor the activities of all those people in the forest. Identify who are the law-abiding citizens in the forest. Who are the Fulani men that we know that are living with us peacefully. The Fulani people that migrate but when they come, these very Fulani people, they don't attack people, they come our farms. After we have harvested our crops, we now leave the chaff for them to feed. We know these ones, we know this one. They can identify those ones. And those that are being suspicious, they approach them along with the military. What are you people doing? I want to know what you are doing. And if it is to get them arrested, they cannot apprehend them themselves, they can operate with the military to have people arrested. So the things that we are saying, that the understanding of the terrain has been the challenge. Ima, I beg to say here, I have been a hostile environment journalist for 16 years now going. I have aided, with the military, several operations, embedded with also the civilian, with the hunters, in Adam State. Most of the time, the militaries will tell, especially the foot soldiers, Oga, we go through the bush, we don't see those people, we don't tire, we don't know road, the place now rock, mountain, we don't know where then they take follow. We walk tire, we come back. It is their human being, it is a factor.
This is what is happening.
So it's not a case of not willing to work. It's a case of understanding the terrain enough.
Thank you very much. It is not a case that our military, our troops do not intend to work. It's that they don't have the capacity, they lack the zeal or the patriotism to defend us. No, it is the terrain, it is not, it is tools, skills that they added into. And in this case, the civilian JTF provided that assistance, those skills and those tools to the troops that helps Boko Haram from Maiduguri and liberated the local government.
So we can use that litmus test to forest helping out.
Yes,
smoke out this.
Exactly. Especially now we have our vice president, who was on that
champion that,
and now he's vice president. And he has said that he's going to be in charge of security. So it means that it's not difficult for them to do this. Bola Tinubu himself use such social programs, employment, to by the of the Lagos Traffic Management Agency, which took off the arrows who were disturbing traffickers and turned them to traffic officers themselves. And they were the ones that were not ensuring that traffic flows. And sorry to use this, don't burn anybody well that time. Break a traffic law. We saw even military officers being forced to turn out. That was where even so much that the officers so much believe in it. Point. If you remember, there's a picture of the former governor and a former of power and housing,
yes,
Mr. Fashola.
Yes,
called to tell a senior patrol officer that you cannot break the law. It is not the community supported it. It is because you supported it.
So you're saying there is a far-flung disparity of communications from the community and our city personnel in terms of this.
Absolutely. And you see, that is another thing. If you create the forest guard, you will now bring the people in the community closer to the security. These people also, yes, if for instance, myself and you, we live in a certain community in Abuja. Let's say the security people, the security within our state or our community. Let's say we don't know them, but they are not part of us. You understand? Communication with them would be difficult. Especially when you are hungry.
Let me hold you on that for a quick commercial break, and when we come back, we'll continue with the conversation and take your calls.
Great.
Emma Okoro. I'm interested in rebuilding my nation, and so I have to join the beginning of cleaning of the environment. The Gariki environment here is totally filthy and unhealthy for people. So when Mayor Fortune decided that Abuja should come out, I decided to join because it's for the good of our people, our children, our wives, and our families. That's why I'm part of this group, so that I'll be part of those who have started the journey to rebuild Nigeria.
In case you are wondering, well, my name is Fortune. I'm mayor of the FCT, and I am excited about this initiative. I believe it's going to be a big one. This is the first of many who are coming to your area very soon. So we expect you to come out. We expect you to put your hand on the plow. It's high time we stop complaining. Let's get something done. If the government is refusing to do it, or they are overwhelmed because they can't do everything, let's do what we can do, and then we hold them accountable for the rest. I think that's what this is about. It's not about politics, not about anybody. It's about people coming up to do what they believe they can do to help their society and the environment at large. That's the thrust for us, and that is why we are here. I'm excited, and I thank you for joining us. Thank you so much.
Audio Jungle. This is Nigeria Info. Nigeria Info.
Nothing breaks the news like the news. Trust me, I can prove it. I do it every morning on Morning Crossfire from 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. on Nigeria Info 95 and FMD Amede. Join the biggest conversation around the national politics every day. It is full of passion, and yes, covers the biggest politics and the stories that matter to you. See, you have all the reasons to find out what's going on in Nigeria and hear differently. Let's talk. That's the way to go.
This is Nigeria Info.
Nigeria Info.
This is Nigeria Info.
Both
Is Nigeria Info.
Nigeria Info.
This is Nigeria Info.
Nigeria Info.
This is Nigeria Info. This is
and how it will improve our security architecture to make sure that the state of emergency declared on food production would be a success by this administration. And citing example, Million JTF. I've been up to also speak to a lot of them. I was in Meduguri working at the time. The ones that were on the Doro camp, and also there's also an Ajeri camp, Makasi camp at the time. But then again, we're also talking about that communication between the community and the security architecture, that the community be at peace. But it's looking like communication gap in that regard. You can be part of the conversation. I see a lot of you to also get on to speak with us. Me up on 0700 910000. WhatsApp is 0399037. You can also drop us via WhatsApp on 003930137. We're also live on YouTube and Facebook. Drop us a comment there and we'll read it out and play. Hello, good morning to you. Good morning to you, sir.
We are talking with the Al-Hassan Mentola, where we have Gondara Kago, National State.
You're welcome.
Yeah, let me say about this conversation that it is. Let me tell you, no matter how, segment of human being, no matter how, the matter is not the bush. One day, to give account to everything that you do. Because I can assure you, something, there's nobody that God people in trouble because they're on the land. So let's get our hands together and pray. Tell us this government is going to do part about the security. I can assure you, one day, all these things should be kept at the bottom of my God.
All right, thank you. Appreciate you. We're also trying to get your take on your support Forest Guard on how do you think it would also better our city architecture on that. We hear your opinion. Thank you. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Mr. Emmanuel Abim. Effizy.
Talk to me, sir.
Tenda kana ta kiran kai ma ce to yau a Boston Bubble oga kenan.
Na ba ku expo kenan.
Yes, I remember Humble Sofa Obale Ketin Bupikinam computer this morning. Honestly, I'm enjoying the collabo in the show. And your guest is flowing and it's giving me a lot of joy. But with all of that, I cannot agree that our security agents are incapable of dealing with insecurity in the land. I think it's the lack of political will invent the future. Your guests have rightly said it, nothing but the truth. Nobody will know community, nobody will know your community, nobody will know inside your house, your and corner of your room like you. So if we can incorporate this forest and give them the backing that they need, do me. Not the way they go catch one suspect, they go say release them from above. You understand? So I think keep the morale of our guys now.
Yes.
How are you going to tell me the Nigerian army cannot eliminate these guys? And they are killing us. We are saying eliminate them.
Right.
So that's it. With everything, without the political gesture, we are not going to have the wonderful discussion. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Walker. Appreciate it. Go on here to take some calls. Hello, good morning to you.
Hello, good morning, Effizy.
Yes, sir. Your name and where you're from, sir?
Abrak, I'm calling from it.
Abrak from Itama. It's fine. How you doing, man?
I'm fine. I'm still calling on the program, but not on your...
Oh, okay. But as long as you are okay, you're welcome. Let's talk.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes.
My greetings to the guests. On the idea of the forest guard, there are already existing forest guards that have been incorporated by the government.
Are you talking the one in the southeast? I know the south.
No, National Forest Guard.
Okay, yes.
Just, in fact, deploy them. I think it's this year. They've put them. Now, what is the situation? Most of all these guys are actually at top. Because apart from logistics, the salary is for. They have to buy their uniform and their books by themselves. People that you have not been, people that have not been paid. So you have to, I have one of these people. This guy, before he was recruited into this forest guy. And later on, when I saw him on uniform, I couldn't recognize him more. He has lean. He has been malnourished. It means that he took the bad experience. I doesn't want to. Now, on the reason of the insecurity aspect, if you read Senator Shabame's interview on TVC yesterday, Alice Hangout, what he was saying is that it is the politics. Our politicians have actually bastardized the military to the extent that because even him, he was against this honest. These guys are bandits. They I mean, their location and roads. Political ways.
But then we hope to see a difference because I mean the new chief is also not embracing that amnet talk himself. So
yes. So now if this guard, this forest guard, as you're getting, they are already on ground. If I'm actually take care of them, let them work military.
Okay.
And most of these guys are not even posted to their state of origin. The person I'm saying is from Kwara. He posted Oyo.
He was posted to Oyo. How then will you understand the forest in Oyo?
What is the idea of?
Oh my!
So these are the way that people we have a good policy on the process of the implement. We got it wrong.
Thank you. We appreciate your. Hello. Okay, let's go to WhatsApp and take some of your calls. We see via WhatsApp here. Hello, good morning to you.
The billionaire.
Yes, I'm very well, sir.
Good morning to your guests. I've been calling you Ima. I said billionaire, LFEC.
Yes.
The richest journalist.
Yes, we'll sanction him. Don't worry.
I'm just giving them.
Just to chip in I concur. I'm fully aware that LCA there was this recruit that was done for forest guard, and to my surprise, how can you recruit someone from Kogi to go and be his guard in Yobe? It's not.
Yes.
You understand? As I can tell you for free, most of them they are absconded. There's left their post. Those who have gotten their post, poor funding, poor logistics, no cushion. You understand? That's the way to go. I know. We need to move ahead of time. Technology is the main thing. Cool as well. People who are just people here and there. My brother, I hope you know the breaking news on grass. That's one. Yes.
Let's not say. In fact, someone just sent a memo to me. I said,
I did shocked because I don't even know where I am now.
No,
it's interesting. It's just interesting. Well, but let's just move forward. That time he was the governor of Maiduguri. During that time, when he introduced the civilian JTF, I'm equally surprised. He was saying that the military should not bow out against the bandits. I'm surprised with that comment from him. I'm surprised. You understand? Let this thing once and for all. If not, Baba, food will become too expensive. When I mean too expensive, that's the fact. So I'm not being realistic. Right. You're not going to say market.
Thank you.
As well.
Thank you. I appreciate it. All right, and let's look at some of your comments via WhatsApp here. Belasinovic from Mama says, hello, Effizy, concerning the state by emergency on food. Wherever a government declares state of emergency simply means that the challenge has overwhelmed them. The A is what to happen an insurgent victim of insurgents. If there is no enemy within, enemy without cannot do harm. There are enemies within those communities. Another part of the conversation says, and Let's see who is also speaking to us morning. This is a lengthy one, but let's hit on it. Good morning, Sir L and the guest. Chinelo, my contributions this morning to the topic brought to the table is that the present-day government did not have masses' interest in their mind. They are what would favor them. They want to spend 500 billion for palliative instead of in the palliative to fix our refineries. The price of fuel, which every masses enjoy, come down. They want to share palliative, so it will be easy for them to get back. If it means well to us, how many families are going to benefit from this 1,000 naira palliative? Are we beggars? People do not go to farm or because of insecurity. They should use that money for security and something better, please. Buy cars for them will not save them. Security is on God alone. Interesting parts here. Let's take on another one before I and Isaac will on the conversation.
Yeah, I'd like to respond to these issues.
This person says, good morning. Abrak Pekin has said it all. If anybody is being arrested, the issue of order from above our Pekin should with this program. If this program would work. Fred sends that in. You wanted to jump on some of the comments we had so far.
Basically, I want to start with Tinubu Pekin. Malan Nagesheka, now go there for your contribution. I'd just like to respond to you quickly is that, yes, there has been issues of political will, but now this government is clearly, that it has political will, to provide security. First, I'd like to give you an example, just with the appointment of the service chiefs, which cuts across which tries to include, a diversity of tribe, religion, and all of that. That already is bringing people, closer, to the government. And I like that directly also to people like Chinolo, who just talks about the money. The money is being small. The 8,000 naira is being very small. Yes, it is small, but it is useful, to the hands of the people, to the people that the government is to target.
But just like we were saying before now, those people, what mechanism is the government using to get them? Whether there are issues of database, there are issues of, we saw COVID-19. You were involved and you saw what happened during the COVID-19. So, those are part of the trust that we're talking about.
Absolutely.
You heard the gentleman who also spoke about forest guard members who got a job in Kogi as a forest guard.
Absolutely.
And he's posted to Yobe.
Yeah, absolutely.
The terrain. It's the same issues when you talked about having the will, the zeal to work, but then again, not understanding some of the community.
Yes. First of all, the issues about trust issues, which Nigerians have come to do, with the government, with all sorts of government, in terms of which has also been exemplified by, would I say, the problem of the distribution of the palliative, of the COVID-19 palliatives. That is why it's throwing up some of these doubts. Totally understand them. And it's good that people now, this kind of their doubts for these governments to hear. Government does not know everything. Those who are speaking out, please keep speaking out. What we would tell the government is that database, it should be updated. Because that was used to execute palliatives, the COVID-19 palliatives, is not satisfactory. And as such, we want it to be updated, upgraded. It can reach the targeted people. They said indigent and vulnerable people. So please, those people, should be included. The vice president, they have I think should be able to succeed because the vice president comes from a region, from the states, that is the theater, of all. So as such, he should know, he should have better understanding or a methodology of drawing up, data to get people. What I like to quickly add there is that security, the most important thing that this food security is going to do, this 8,000 is going to do. This is my personal assessment and my personal expectation, having related with all of people, is that people who are in rural areas, poor of the poor, the people who never felt government presence, if they sit in their localities and they get an alert of 8,000 naira, because we hear that it's going to be done transfer, and we also have a question towards that. If gets this transfer, these people will now believe that the government actually thinks of them. The government, I'm coming. What is the issue that in the first place created insecurity that has hindered our farmers going to the farm? It is because of a complete breakdown, of government taking the responsibility of carrying their plum. We have been in Maiduguri, Borno State. One of the issues working to people is that in some local governments,
of the state. There actually been no government since in the 80s. Do you understand?
Isaac, you have seen some of these, you know, and as a fellow listener, you know, sometimes it beats imagination. You have seen those very critical areas where government have not been felt. When we talk about the issue around 8,000, you know, it's okay to throw it far to some of the places that we have been. You have been in Meri.
Yes.
I've been in Meduguri. I've been Farah. I've been as far as Kauramuda. I've been as far as Talatama. I've been as far as Shinkafi. Just wondering, and I like what you said about digital transfer. How many people's communities can afford to have a bank? As I speak to you, the last time during Goodluck Jonathan's time, when we all went to monitor the card reader test, for I to know if that card reader test was what we did at the time for that elections. At that time, in Jamare had only one bank. As a total local government area, as only one bank. I'm telling you, as if you go into Jamare and that's the day that local government pays their staff, like, you are trapped because there's no way you can get money anywhere.
In fact,
go to Azare. And by the time you get to Azare, most of the banks in Azare, as at that 15, left because of insurgency issues. People were breaking into their machines and they decided to leave. And I know a particular bank that said it's not to Azare at the time. So some of these dynamics, and people are also trying to find out, this government, don't make same mistake your predecessor made. You have to redefine. You want to give this 8,000 to the poor. In some of those places, that 8,000 means a lot.
Thank you very much.
No doubt.
Very argument, a very, very valid call that you have, Ima.
But how it is being given to those people is the reason.
Yes. So I mean, the government officials are Bola Ahmed Tinubu and your team, Alake. You people are listening to CBN, you are listening to the concerns. People are actually appreciating, you know, the 8,000. But palliative. But what I like to add here, I have a suggestion. I don't know how valid listeners, we can all contribute to this thing. This country is ours, all of us. Government don't know it all. I'm thinking about using microfinance. The microfinance who are domiciled, you know, like the local governments or this. This way, this microfinance can go to the rural areas. It's not going to be a win situation of, you know, go to these rural areas, you know, open accounts for these people. You know, in that way, you have collected their biometrics, you have collected their just. We might not be able to simply achieve that in the first month of payment of the 8,000. But by the time we get it done on the third, we would have been able to achieve success in that. And if we can achieve so that, it means that we have collected another into what we want. So this is, I understand these concerns, they are very valid, and we need to continue to push it to the government to ensure that these very people are the ones that get this.
All right. Let's look at some of the mess here, and I agree with some of your concerns. It's just that again, government know how to get materials to everywhere.
Yes.
Every even beyond the river, even in Braz, in Bayelsa, they get to vote.
Yes.
And you know the way to get to Braz is to be on that water for about an hour plus before you get there. But INEC materials. Hopefully palliative would get.
Hopefully this government will be different.
All right. Your guest said the poor of the poorest. If I may ask, does the poor of the poor have the time to go open account? Kubwa sent that in via what this morning. Good morning. How will they know the vulnerable family that will be given the 8K? They are deceiving people with this strategy. You said the vice president is from the region that is most in need, and should the system to get to those people. Is it going to be one-sided affair as usual, John?
No.
It's not. It did not say it's going to be one-sided affair. Yeah, John. Let's not
respond to that quickly.
No. Let's allow that go. Good morning. How do you justify the palliative National Assembly to the 8K to the poor? The National Assembly members, are they poor? Marcel, yesterday I dealt with that issue. The Assembly, the spokesperson, Senator Yomi, I think that Senator Yomi actually put out the statement that 70 billion naira is not to any legislator. It doesn't go to any senator's pocket. He mentioned a number of issues. There are thousands of staff in the National Assembly. Their office facelift and tools. That's what he said. I'm quoting him verbatim. He said senators have to bring their table and chairs and electronics. Some have to do a sun-dry repair, saying that some of those money will be used for face. Even though I myself have an issue when you say 20 billion, there is no sector in the Federal Republic of Nigeria, stand to be corrected, that can't afford basic office to have an office. Most of those senators are senators, and that's to say that most of them are coming back to the National Assembly. What happened to furniture they were using in the 9th Assembly? That's a conversation for another day. Let's take a call and we'll wrap this up. Hello, good morning.
namijin duniya.
An gaishe.
Gaishe ka namijin duniya tare da bakon ka bakon gwagwalata.
Na gode.
Maza Chika. An gaishe ka zo.
Gaishe ka wane ne?
Muna tare.
We need a late, but not just politics. We need a government policies that need refineries.
All right.
And the issue of food crisis, we want fertilizer price to drop.
Okay, I'm afraid we would have to let you go at that point. Thank you. I really must thank Isaac Abrak for coming this evening. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Can I have 10 seconds? I like to add clearly that what Mohamed Tinubu is proposing is that he is the one that actually proposed in his manifesto the renewed hope that he revitalize the forest guard. What we are doing is trying to that he fulfills his promise, and we are saying that he should force his recruitment in the rural areas. Don't recruit somebody. Yes.
I'm sorry, the time is not our friend. Thank you so much for coming, Isaac. I hope to do this again.
Absolutely.
And we're holding the government accountable. When they promise a thing, they should fulfill.
Absolutely.
And that's one of the reasons why you are here today. Thank you, Abuja, for staying with us on the conversation. And after the commercial at the top of the hour, then I come back and we can do some shout out. How about that? I'm seeing speculations though, but I won't talk about.
One community property developers now said